Welcome to this Ox Sports Unleashed podcast review of Oxfordshire football over the 6th and 7th of December with Colin Wright and Hattrick. So over the past couple of weeks, the yellow side of the city is doing far better than the blue side. But last weekend, that was all reversed. Oxford United, well, they lost 2-0 away at Swansea. And Oxford City demolished playoff place Darlington 5-1. And Patrick Lott, you were there. Did you honestly see that result coming, sir?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know where that came from. Against fourth in the league, I mean, it is going to the ground thinking, I'll take a point today kind of thing. But I mean, the only thing I would say is that City always tend to have a thing about performing better against the higher ranked teams in the league than they do lower down. But just one of those weekends that everything clicks, I think, and a really, really, really good performance from everyone from the City side, and a bit of a change of tactics as well. So Ross reverted to a back four for the first time in a while, and Isaac Westendorf was suspended and Josh Parker unavailable. So all of a sudden that meant a different strategy up top as well. So DJ Campton-Sturridge played up top for the first time this season, and can only say ran them to bits, really. And probably a bit of an understatement, as he scored 3 and was probably unlucky not to get an official assist for one of the goals as well, as there was probably one pass between him and the goals, Zach scoring the second goal as well. So, definitely you'd say that he was heavily involved in 4 of the 5 goals. So, really, really good win for City. And hopefully a confident win like that will hopefully give them a bit of confidence to go on a bit of a run as well, because we've been used to hearing Ross Jenkins over the years moan when City have won 3-4-0, saying, we should have scored 5 or 6. And to be honest, there was probably only 2 or 3 other chances that City had throughout the game, and you wouldn't have said they were kind of clear-cut chances, but well-made chances, like a curl from the edge of the box and things. So, really good win for City, and hopefully we'll push on now.
All right, well, we can hear from 2 very, very happy chappies now with, first of all, Andy Gates talking to Hattrick hero DJ Campton-Sturridge, followed by an interview with the assistant manager, Andy Ballard.
DJ, what a day, what a win. I'm just going to pan down to that lovely match ball there. Hattrick, how are you feeling?
Good, really happy. First of all, we got to let them know you asked me to hold this. I've not been in here. I've been asked to hold this match ball, but really happy, but couldn't have done it without the team, so happy.
Almost a perfect performance, wasn't it? I mean, that goal perhaps taking the shade off things a little bit, but apart from that, in hindsight, we were superb today, and perhaps are we thinking that it should have been more than 5? Yeah,
it could have been more than 5. Obviously, that's on a perfect day. Not everybody's going to be able to take all their chances, but from defence to attack, it wasn't just us attackers or myself. We wouldn't have been able to do it with the midfield, and defence wasn't as good as they were. So, it was a really good joint effort today.
You're quite a versatile attacker. I've seen you now play across the front 3, if you like, and that was... Well, you can't argue that was your best performance of the season. So is that kind of where you'd like to play? Because you seem to take to it like a duck to water, that striking position. Yeah,
it's always been my most natural position, but throughout the season, obviously, it's gone other ways to where I've had to play in other positions, which I've been happy with also. But when I knew I was getting the opportunity to play striker today, I was happy, and I was quietly confident that it would go well. So, I'm happy to play in my position.
Did go well.
Yeah.
1-0 up after 2 minutes, and then obviously you made it 3-0 just after Zach's goal. Talk us through that first goal, because you were Mr. Johnny on the spot in the right place at the right time. What are you thinking?
Just trying to be the best poacher I can, really. Zach obviously went on an amazing run and was unfortunate not to score. And then I could see the ball floating, and I was thinking, is it going over the bar? Is it not? And then it bounced off the bar, and I was able to take it down. And even from 2 yards, I decided to put it in the roof of the net. So, but they all count. So really happy.
Second goal, when you celebrated, I'm not sure you knew what you wanted to do. You ran around the goal, you were just going crazy.
I can't really remember what I did, to be honest. But I knew that second goal, the fourth one, was needed after they brought it back to 3-1. And I think we were under the cosh a bit. So when I scored that, I thought, that was very needed. So I was happy because the team needed it.
And then right at the end, we've just seen it in there when you're getting your man of the match after the game. We talked to you about the penalty. No nerves. You said in there you were thinking about what celebration you were going to do.
Honestly, I was, to be fair, which maybe you shouldn't do, I don't know, but maybe it was a good thing. Maybe
it's confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, confidence. But a couple of the boys told me don't ever do that again when they're having banter with me, but they were happy. And I'm happy to get my first career hat-trick and hopefully many more to come.
Well done for that. But
by the way, you need to sponsor me now. That was Gate. He told me if I score, it was between me and George Burrows, right? He says whoever scores next gets sponsored. I'm like, look, you're under pressure. You got red now. You have to sponsor me.
I got all red on the other side. That's one for me though, DJ. You're going to take all the plaudits from today. You got the ball. You got the bottle of wine for winning player of the match. But to be fair, throughout the team, everyone played so well. And it was a brilliant team performance, wasn't it? Yeah, no, everybody was great. Like I said, obviously, the attackers may take the plaudits from today because we scored 5 goals, but the way we defended, the way we were compact, and they always say like good defensive positions puts your team in a good attacking position as well. So because we did the defensive side right, we was able to attack well also. So throughout the whole team, we were all really good today. DJ, congratulations. We're all dead happy for you. Well done. On to the next one.
Okay.
Andy, 5-1 win against one of the National League North's in-form teams, way up there in the top of the league in Darlington. Almost a perfect performance today.
Yeah, almost. Would have been nice to keep a clean sheet, but look, the boys have worked really hard this afternoon. I think we got the rewards. It's been coming. We've worked really hard in the last few weeks in training to be organised, to be front-footed, to try and go and score goals, and today we did. Like you said, Darlington are on a good run of form, and to score 5 at home against them is really pleasing. I
mean, we almost looked unstoppable in that first half, and I imagine, despite going in at 3-0, we were disappointed not to be going in 4 or 5, maybe even 6-0.
Yeah, I think so. I think we had 2 or 3 more chances that we could have scored, but I think we got in at half time. We took a deep breath. We knew what we needed to do second half. We knew it was going to be kind of even harder. I think the game's never won at half time, but we went out second half. We had to defend for our lives at times. I'm not sure Jamie had to make too many saves, so that's credit to the defenders and the teams, the boys in front of him. But at times we've kind of weathered it and we've scored the goals that we needed to win the game.
I think with the way the season's gone, when they got that goal back, there was always a few nerves. The kind of stadium went a little bit nervy for a while, but we needn't have had to be because, set-piece goal, which is obviously disappointing. However, apart from that, like you say, Jamie Partington was very rarely troubled, defensive brilliantly, and we're probably coming off thinking could have been 6-7.
Yeah, I think so. When they scored, it was a bit nervous times, but I think the boys were resilient in them moments. I think a few weeks ago, maybe we might have conceded again and again. So it's real credit to the boys' belief, the determination that they've got, that we conceded, we reset, we went again, we kind of defended for a period after that goal, and then obviously we go and score a breakaway one that kind of ends the game for us. But like I said, it's a pleasing performance to score 5 goals at home. It's something that we can build on.
Is it even more pleasing to see players take the chances? And I'm not actually just talking about DJ Sturridge, who hasn't been starting for quite a while. He's come in and scored a hat-trick today. I'm also talking about Braden Daniel, who I thought was brilliant. Perhaps should have scored, but was really good today. Latrell stepping up after being left out last week. These players have really stood up to the plate today.
They have, yeah. To a man, every single player put in a performance today. The boys that have come in, who haven't had many kind of minutes in the last few weeks, have done really well. Obviously, we've made some changes towards the end because some tired legs out there. But everybody put in a shift. Everybody played to their maximum, and I think we got the result that we deserved.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone can complain at that if they were watching the game today. And then finally, it's a chance to, you mentioned it there, rest the legs a little bit. There's a couple of weeks until we're back in action with a little break, and it's a good chance to deload now because those players have done a lot of the hard yards this season so far. So perhaps those 2 weeks off, despite the result today, is coming at a good time.
Possibly, yeah, but sometimes you kind of want a next game straight after a win. So it would have been nice to have another game on a Tuesday and another game next Saturday, but we haven't got it. It's a 2-week period now that we can kind of concentrate on ourselves, look at where we need to improve. Some of the boys will kind of obviously be offloaded. I think there's 2 or 3 lads that haven't missed any minutes this season, so it'll be a chance to rest a few up, get some freshness back into their bodies. But look, we'll be working really hard over the next 2 weeks to try and back this performance up.
Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So thanks to Andy Gate there and DJ Campton-Sturridge. Of course, Andy Ballard, when my time was down at City interviewing Mike Ford years ago, Andy Ballard was a player on the pitch coming up from one of those record sort of attendances, something like 200 and something, wasn't it, Andy Ballard? But now he's been an assistant manager and a very reliable one, isn't he, Patrick? So, one of these guys that is, you could say he's kind of Oxford City through and through, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, he was in the first Oxford City squad that I remember watching back in 2013, and scored a few goals that year. And I remember him playing probably almost any position going apart from goalkeeper. And I mean, who knows? He may have even played goalkeeper if a goalkeeper got sent off occasionally. But I've certainly seen him play in the defence, certainly seen him play in midfield, and I certainly saw him play up top as well. So, really solid player. Always gave his all, and did have a few years away when he went off to Didcot, and then obviously managed Didcot for a bit before Jamie Heapy. But came back to City as assistant manager, and I mean he's been there for at least 5-6 years again now. So yeah, really good. Yeah, really good assistant manager and like a real big club man. And it'll be interesting after Jamie Heapy's 1,200 club involvement at Didcot what we were talking about last week, whether we could work that out for Andy Ballard. I mean, it won't be anywhere near the number of Jamie Heapy, but I'm sure it's still a good number of games that he's been around for at City.
I think you are. So, well, that result unfortunately still finds Oxford City in the relegation zone, but just 1 point adrift. But there are 5 teams in and around the relegation zone within 3 points of each other, Patrick. So there's still much work to do. And you say a couple of wins and you're mid-table, a couple of losses, you're back in the danger zone again, aren't you?
I mean, it's a really, really tight league, and it's not just this league as well. We've and we'll probably touch on it in a bit as well when we come on to Didcot Town. That looking at that league, it's ridiculously tight in and around, and I mean, it just shows how closely matched teams are this year. And maybe City's 5-1 win over 4th place team probably proves that there's not much between teams. And like you say, if you can get 2 or 3 wins on a run, then all of a sudden you may be 13th, 14th or something in that league. But a few defeats in a row, and all of a sudden you're in deep trouble. Leamington, who are now rock bottom of the league by 4 or so points adrift on the bottom step of the league. I mean, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, they were out the relegation zone, and look at them now. They've had a dodgy run of form and at the bottom of the league. So, it's really, really tough league, and every point matters. And obviously, say City kind of got a glimmer now of getting themselves back out of the relegation zone, but still played a couple more games than anyone else as well. So some
tough,
games in hand, which may not be the worst thing, because obviously it means that teams are going to have a lot of games to play in a short period of time. So yes, yeah.
So United lost, City won. Banbury United season a little bit up and down, still mid-table though. But last weekend had a 2-0 away loss to Redditch, Patrick.
Yeah, and I mean, it shows what run of form they've had in recent weeks. That they were, they were just 1 place above the relegation zone 3 or 4 weeks ago, and now back up to 10th after this run of form. And it was another tough game they had this weekend. They went to Redditch Borough, who were 1 place outside the playoff positions. A win looking to get them back in the playoff positions. But as you say, they went down 2-0 to a Fabian Reynolds brace in the first half. But Banbury had a lot of play in the second half, couldn't quite force a goal back. So, Redditch probably saw the game out fairly easily. But, Banbury certainly had a go second half to try and get something out of the game.
As we hear next from Dave England chatting to Kelvin Langmead after the game. Kelvin Langmead thought that it was a bit of a tired performance there, and maybe these lads are due a bit of a time-out. But here's Dave England chatting to Kelvin Langmead after that defeat.
And your thoughts on today's game?
Just a really flat performance. We sort of dropped our levels last week, but got away with it a little bit, really, which to play poorly and win isn't always the worst thing. We've played better and lost, but we sort of carried that into today, and 2 really poor goals. We sort of gave them up. They didn't really have to work hard for them, and so I was really, really disappointed with how we started the game. Like I say, it just felt a bit flat, but we were better second half, as we have been in previous spells in this season, but got no fruits for our labour. So, just overall, just really disappointed. Just a really flat performance, nowhere near ourselves. And we need to find a way back to, how we had been through most of November.
What do you put that flatness down to, Kelvin? Because I suppose that's the $1 million question, really. But it did seem a bit flat up here, and it looked like 1 or 2 players were looking a little bit frustrated with how things were going, passes misplaced and such like.
Yeah, look, if I had the answer to that, I'd be a rich man, wouldn't I? But I don't know, look, we don't want to make excuses for him, because I think, we made far too many fundamental basic errors today. Passes going astray, clearances going out, not winning our tackles, and really that is the nitty-gritty of how to get a result. If things aren't quite going so well, you go back to the basics and you try and do them really well, and we just didn't even get that right today. So we've had an awful lot of games. If I want to give them sort of a bit of an excuse, we did fantastically well through November. The last 2 performances is maybe of a team who have had that an awful lot of games, who have we've set up differently, which has been physically tougher for them. But we'll look after them. There maybe is a few that need a bit of a rest. We don't really have the numbers to do that at the moment, but we're tailoring training to try and allow some of them to have a bit of a breather. But we reset, we just said in there, look, we know this isn't the standards that we've set. We need to get back to us, the best version of us. So we'll do that. We'll work hard in training this week and make sure we prepare properly, dust ourselves off and get ready for the next one.
I know when you spoke to us last Saturday off the back of your victory over Stamford and Redditch's rather chastening loss against Spalding, it was sort of, you don't want to be the fall guys for this one. What was the message to your players going into this game? And was conceding early on maybe giving Redditch that little bit of confidence that they might not have otherwise had they gone a little bit longer goalless?
Yeah, absolutely that. When the team gets beat as heavily as they did, they're a bit of a wounded animal, aren't they? And with that, there's 2 sides to it. There's a vulnerability there, but there's also a bit, you've got to, if you're going to go down, you're going to go down fighting, or come out fighting. And probably the early goal, the timing of it probably settled them a little bit. Had it been the other way, then of course, the momentum of the game would have felt a lot different. And, even second half, I sort of said to Craig, I felt like if we got one, they would get a bit shaky because of what's gone on previously, but we never really created a clear-cut chance. We turned down to cross the ball too many times, and like I say, the quality just wasn't there today. It was a really flat, poor performance overall, and that probably comes from the fact we've set our standards so much higher, and they've been fantastic. So there's no major inquiry into this one. We just wasn't good enough today. We dust ourselves off and get ready for the next one.
You had your skipper on the bench, Yawa Fusu. What can you tell us about that? Was there a temptation to put him back into the starting 11 today, or was always going to be a little bit of a step too far?
It would have been a step too far for sure. Hasn't trained yet, but he's feeling much better. So we wanted, he's such a big figure for us on and off the pitch. Even if he can't be on the pitch, you want him in and around it, off it, because he is so influential. So absolutely delighted to have him back in and amongst it, but just wasn't quite ready.
Preparation then for Needham Market. You got 3 week again. You said you're going to probably have to tailor the training around your players who've got a lot of game time into the legs already this season.
Yeah, no, we will do. So we've sort of set out and let the lads know what December will look like going forward, so we won't alter from that. make sure we look at the performance overall, where we feel we can get better, and we may look at ourselves, obviously, as staff as well, about selection for next week, how training looks this week in terms of, do we change things slightly? Do we need to kind of freshen things up, which is what we did 6, 7, 8 games ago, and it gave us a new lease of life. So we'll look at all the different, possibilities and what we feel might help us going forwards. We're a disappointed group because we fell well below what we're capable of today.
So thanks to Dave England there and Kevin Langmead for that very honest appraisal of the results there and about their bounce back.
I think that really kind of proves that point I was making a minute ago about having games in close succession, doesn't it? And they've played a lot of games in recent weeks, had a few Tuesday night games in there as well. So, it's always good when you have a midweek free week. So, hopefully Banbury will have one of those soon and they can get some energy back into their legs, I think.
Indeed. Now, the pair of us keep on banging on about how non-league football gives value for money. And, I think there's no exception there for this one because Tame United is a 9-goal thriller at the weekend. They came out 6-3 winners over Norwood. I mean, dear me, you don't get that in the Premiership, do you, these days, unless you're very, very lucky, sir, and paid a fortune to see it.
And even a 9-goal thriller in the Premier League isn't probably value for money anyway, is it, with the ticket prices nowadays? And I mean, especially at the World Cup coming up, with some of the ticket prices touted for that, you'll probably still be about $100 a goal for a 9-goal thriller. But as you say, in non-league, it's you probably just be paying just over £1 a goal at Tame United for that. Yeah, really entertaining game. And I mean, the good news for Tame is that they never. I was going to say they never went behind, but they never even were level with Northwoods. So they were always ahead. First we went 2-1 up. Northwood got one back, but then Tame got another one to make it 3-1. Northwood got one back to make it 3-2. Then Tame got another couple of goals to put a 3-goal cushion between them. Northwood did get one back, so maybe come back on maybe, but no, it was a Lance Williams goal in the last minute made it 6-3. So it's a lot, plenty of entertainment down at Tame. Greg Hackett got 2 of the goals. The other goals were Finn Murray, Jack Tutton, Ethan Lack, and the Lance Williams goal at the end. So they were all shared around as well. So a summariser's nightmare when you have several different goal scorers. It takes a while to get through them all.
It does indeed, yeah. Especially when it all happens towards the end of the game. You've got to do rapid rewrites if you're trying to phone a report in. So, but a positive way to end the game anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, so meanwhile, Didcot seem to like going west, don't they? They put another battling performance away. Long old trip down to Brixham. And no doubt it was a very, very happy coach trip back with Daz King, and we had on our show last week, didn't we? Daz King spoke very well about his time in Didcot Town. So, but not a bad result for them, was it, away at Brixham?
Yeah, they seem to like going away, don't they? They've had some really good wins on the road. And as you say, it's another 3 points for them at Brixham. It was a goal in each half. Tiger Hall scored in the first half, and then Owen James got a second half goal. A really important win there. And as we were talking about tight leagues earlier, they were just edging back towards the relegation zone, weren't they, when we were last looking at them last week? So, very important win for them to try and get themselves away from that zone again and push up the table.
Okay, so we can hear from Daz King now chatting to Jamie Hebe after that game. And it was a very, very blustery day, so I hope you'll apologies for the wind. Okay, from the weather, not people's curries.
Jamie, big 3 points.
Like I said, I didn't want to put too much pressure on the boys, but they knew. We spoke in the week about not just today, but moving forward and the games coming up and the points that we would like. So I didn't have to tell them too lot, but it was too much, sorry. But it was scrappy. It was pitch played all right, to be fair. It was wet, I know, but two honest teams again, and we had a bit of quality for the second goal. Great goal, Tiger, great cross. OJ, great header. Good to have him back. He did well, to be fair, because he was getting the two centre-halves and bullying him around a bit and doing the old dark arts.
He weren't getting out from the ref.
No.
He deserved the goal.
It seems that we don't get a lot from referees now.
Not down here, mate. I say you tell from my voice today.
And we get frustrated, but sometimes we're our own extended flag. because we get involved with all the referees and officials who are not getting anything. We just got to learn we're not going to get anything, so go with it. And have that mindset.
Yeah, I mean, it's worrying because when he got the second goal, I thought, I'll take him off now.
Yeah. Well,
and then
we spoke
JP
about
got the red.
We spoke about taking him off at half time, and we were like, no, he needs to learn and manage the game himself, because you can easily drag him off.
Yeah.
But we spoke and we just felt he's got something to get us, and that goal was perfect. And then 10 minutes later, take him off. JP getting sent off didn't help, but then they were harsh yellow cards, I thought.
Yeah. But the second one, he can't wait to get the second yellow.
I think the first one warrants a yellow. It's just to have a word with him.
Yeah.
But he can wait to send him off then. And then, but we've been great with 10 men. Great with Mal's.
You wouldn't have thought we had 10.
No, and we look comfortable with 10 men.
Yeah.
More comfortable with 11. But the work rate was brilliant second half. To a man, brilliant. Good to get Kez on at the end, just to give him a bit of experience. Dylan had to put a shift in, Mika had to put a shift in, back forward great. Lee would have overworked second half. And to get a clean sheet here is good, because they make it hard for teams here.
Yeah.
They make it hard for you, they try and intimidate you, and I'm just pleased we've come through, I say, unscathed. JP gets sent off, doesn't help us, but clean sheet, 3 points. Back on the coach.
That's it, always makes that
journey back a bit better, doesn't it? Guinness tastes better.
Yeah, music will be blasting out.
Yeah, and they're happy, and we needed that, because we probably haven't got our just rewards the last few weeks, and today probably sort of balanced itself out a little bit. And I felt at times we probably deserved a bit of luck and a bit of things to go our way.
Yeah, because we just sort of got dragged back into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Results.
And I don't think we haven't got the results we deserve. So the performances have been better. Yeah. And again, we've come away with nothing to show for it. But today we dug in and we worked. And I know when we come to grounds like this and we've got to roll our sleeves up and get stuck in, we're good at that.
It's one of them games today, and it's windy.
Yeah,
horrible. It's not pretty. It's at 3 points.
Yeah, it is. It's one of them. That's what I said before the game. Come here, 3 points, win. See you Tuesday. Yeah. So that's it. We go again. We don't get carried away because we know we've got a tough run of games.
Yeah, say like 3 or 4.
We probably need to get a couple of bodies in if we can. But that's different. Say thanks for the support as well. We've got great support here today.
Yeah, good
great
following
support
again today.
They're good numbers. They come down. Some are staying down tonight and making a weekend of it. But we appreciate it. It's brilliant. And they were loud, and the boys appreciate it when they clapped them off at the end. So no, just thank you from me to everyone. Really, support was brilliant today. Brilliant, mate.
Brilliant.
All right, points. Thank you.
Well done, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks to Daz King there, chatting to Jamie Heapy. And let's hope the rallyman can pull things back. Now, elsewhere, Patrick, we've been talking a lot about Ardley. They've got lots of games in hand, but they've been knocked off of the top table. I suspect more because of games that are no shows, postponed, as opposed to a drop off in league form. But they're off the top of the table. Tell us what else happened elsewhere in the football pyramid last weekend, Patrick.
Yeah, indeed. And the reason they're off the top of the table is because their game got called off against Amersham Town, standing water on their pitch. So that's why Ardley United didn't have a game, which is obviously good news for them because it means they've got another game in hand to try and get themselves back on the top of the league. So obviously we're all rooting for them. Before I move on to the others, it was an interesting stat I saw when I was doing my research for this week's episode, and that Ardley are just one of 3 teams in Step 5 across the country to boast a 100% home record in the league this year. So, and there's no one in any non-league step above them as well that have got 100% a home record. So, yeah, really good season for them and a really strong home record, as you can tell. Second place, Wallingford and Crowmarsh. They only draw 1-1 at home against Harefield. A second half goal from David Lynn, seeing them come from a goal down there to earn that point. But elsewhere, Abingdon United were left defeated 3-1 at home against Ashford Town Middlesex. Northleigh versus Milton United and Kippington's game against British Airways joined Ardley's match as victims of the weather, as did Egerton Sports in the United Counties League against Atherstone there. So a little bit done by the weather, Step 5 this weekend. So sadly not much to talk about from there. One step below, and we had a full a full run of fixtures there. So obviously we know how Wantage Town are very much a form team in Hellenic Division 1 this season at the moment. And they hit 8 goals against Woodford United on Saturday. Wow. So they're absolutely keeping that up with flying colours. Michael Miller gave them a great start, scoring just after 2 minutes before Luke Whelan and Josh Davies both struck hat-tricks to make it 7-1. Callum Crook getting this final goal in added time to set up that route. And yeah, really amazing to see another 2 players get a hat-trick in the same game. It's 2 times in the last couple of weeks we've those, as Oxford City women had that same feat last weekend. So really real football rarity to have it's a football rarity enough to have 1 hat-trick in a game, isn't it, really?
Absolutely,
let alone 2. So it's really good for Wantage to have 2 hat-trick heroes there. Elsewhere in that league, it was a big win. Casterton, they beat Ulster Town on the half. Zach Scott goal was enough to see them to victory there. But sadly, for our other 2 teams in that league, defeat for Canfield 85, who lost to Bewdley Town 3-0 on the road. And Tame United reserves also fell to a 4-1 reverse against Stonehouse Town. On Sunday, a really good set of results here as well. Impressive 4-1 win for Oxfordshire United over Gwalior United at Court Place Farm. Emma Thompson and Holly Manders struck in the first half before Thompson got a second, with Grace Palmer getting another to add to secure a good win for them there, 4-1. Abingdon United had goals bookending the game as they won 2-0 at Ascot United. Holly Selwood gave Abingdon a 6-minute lead. Nothing else happened until 5 minutes from time when Lauren May made sure of the result to make it 2-0 there, and a good win for them. And to round off a positive set of results, it was a good weekend all round at Oxford City. The women's side outdoing the men's side by 1 goal. They won 6-1 at Beaconsfield Town, so 11-2 on aggregate for the men's and women's sides at Oxford City this weekend. Lucy White gave City an early lead before Yasmin Edwards and an own goal made it 3-1 at the break. Kate Parsons, Ellie White, and then a second goal from Yasmin Edwards could a big win for Leon Theohoris' side, who are just starting to look like they're getting some league form as well. So obviously after they've had a lot of cup action in the early parts of the season, their league season finally seems to be taken. Seems to be what's the phrase, Colin? Come and help me out.
Well, I think sometimes after you get kicked out of cups and things, sometimes your season sort of peters out a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, but it's the opposite of that. It's really
they're being motivated, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
Got their mojo going.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, go with that. We'll go with that.
I think we should go with that, Patrick. We'll go with mojo. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So, all right. So
fade right at the end of the second.
Yeah.
There we go.
Plenty of goals last weekend, though, going in. So good value for money
locally.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but what have local football fans got to look forward to this coming weekend in your football focus, fixture focus, I should say?
The weekend kicks off slightly early this weekend. An early kick-off for Oxford United in the Championship. They host Preston North End. 12:30 kick-off at the Kassam Stadium on Saturday. No game at all for Oxford City this weekend. It was FA Trophy weekend, and after their exit a couple of weeks ago means that they don't have a game this weekend. Banbury United, they host Needham Market on Saturday in the Southern League Premier Central at the Spencer Stadium, powered by Egg, which I always think is a really interesting stadium name this year. Made me chuckle, I have to say, when I heard it first time at the start of the season.
Egg or eggnog?
Just Egg.
Okay,
Egg.
right, yeah.
Yeah. It is a company. It's not just randomly powering it by Egg or anything. Not some random new power source they found. But yeah, it made me laugh. But that's coming up for anyone that fancies a trip up to Banbury on Saturday. Tame United, they're on the road. They head to Ware in Southern League Division 1 Central. Ware is one of my favourite teams because I remember going to watch the Didcot played in playoff final a few years ago when they got promoted, and they played Ware at home. walking to the ground, and someone who was walking their dog said, "Who are they playing today?" And someone said, "Where?" And she was like, "No, I'm asking you, who are you playing today?"
Yeah, good one. Nice one,
that was a good one. It made me chuckle. That. Anyway, sorry, just to get myself back on track.
Have to.
And it is Didcot Town who are next. Actually, they're at home this weekend. They host Porterhead's Town in the Division 1 South. So that's what's coming up on Saturday. And to quickly look at Sunday, Oxford United, they got their FA Women's Cup third round tie. They host Plymouth Argyle at Court Place Farm. About the third time they've played them in a few weeks. So, that'll be a competitive game, I'm sure. Abingdon United, they host Bournemouth Sports at the North Course in the Women's National League Division 1 South West. And finally, Oxford City, they're on the road. They head to Sholing in the Southern Region Women's Football League Premier. And that is all what's coming up this weekend, Colin.
Thanks a lot, Patrick Locke.
That was the Oxfordshire Football Roundup with Colin Wright and Patrick Locke from the weekend of the 6th and 7th of December in association with Oxsports Unleashed. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can via the email oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. And as always, you can catch the main Ox Sports Unleashed show every Thursday from 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, goodbye.